And again, like I said, I'm not standing because my legs are killing me. Today's talk was going to be about, and it'll be more of a group talk, is, I think how internet marketers are ruining the coaching field, the NLP and the hypnosis side of coaching. I don't care about some of the other sides. And I say that because, to be honest, our field, and Billy's been around it for a long, long time, has always skirted on a lot of the people in the field have been kind of slimy, kind of one step above a used car salesman, right? You see it at conferences. It's just, I think all fields are like that. I see it in psych. I see it everywhere, but in the especially since the pandemic, maybe because I was paying more time, more attention to it. And the reason I said I think it's ruining our field, all these people, I see all these internet marketers that now all of a sudden are experts in hypnosis, right? That I've never seen before. And I'm not arrogant enough to think I know everybody, right? But if I reach out to 10 people, no, if you reach out to 10 people, it's like, have you ever heard of this guy? No, if you know, it's like, and then there's a giveaway, and there's one guy on I see, and his stuff's pretty good. Even though I make fun of it, I'm like looking at his stuff to see if there's anything I can model, as we call it, right? But it's like every other goddamn post is by the pool, doing this on a plane. And he's a young, good-looking guy, so that helps. But it's like after the third or fourth, I almost want to text, go, do you ever fucking work? I mean, do you ever actually see a client? I mean, I don't know if my clients would be impressed if I was doing it by the pool at a resort in Puerto Vallarta or whatever it is in Mexico or whatever, right? But it's like, and the reason I kind of double back to it's a lot of the people come in to become hypnotists, NLPers, and personal coaches the way we personal coach, because you really want to help people, right? And there's some guys out there that are very good at like build your business to help more people. I'll mention Jason Lynette, Dan Candell. If you look at what they're marketing you to do is actually go do this. But, there's that fine line where it's like the 4-hour work week myth, I love that one because the guy that wrote the book at one point admitted he works about 60 to 80 hours a week. Right. And, but that whole thing, so then, then people like, if they're new in the field, they think, well, do I have to become an internet marketer? You got to do it a little bit. You got to get good at writing copy and doing that. But it's like, I guess I still have that fundamental thing because I've known people that's gone through it. I've sat through a couple where they teach you and some of it's pretty good, right? Like how to coach. Usually it's a very basic NLP-ish approach, like mirror match, do this, do that, great. And then it's like marketing. That's what I was there for. And then at the end, they go, now what you do is you go and you create your own course on how to get high ticket clients and sell that to other people. It's, it's like an MLM on steroids, multi-level marketing thing on steroids.
Yeah.
And, so not that, and again, now I'm going to do the talk out of both sides thing, but on the flip side, it's good to see what they're doing, right? Because some of their stuff, is there something in there you could use? Is there a template? I'm big on templates. I don't, it's like it'll give you a good idea. That's why I tell people, those of you that went through the hypnotic writing class, I say get on 3 or 4 or 5 internet marketer guys email lists. You'll get 2 or 3 emails a day, but if every 2-3 days you get one that's really good, right? You could use that as a model, right? And then just go in, and they're not, and most of them aren't smart enough, or I don't want to say that, that's a judgment, in this day and age, you don't want to judge. They don't know hypnotic writing and this, and how to really do it. The ads are pretty good, but if you added the hypnotic writing and a few of those things, they become the next level. Does that make sense to everybody? Right?
Yep.
That's, because a lot of the stuff you know, when I see a really cool and I'll put it, you know, I'll save it. Then I'll go back in a few weeks, right? And pick out one I really like and then use that as a template, and then go add in our hypnotic words, naturally, easily, effortlessly, those things. I go to one of the swipe files from Joe Vitale on hypnotic, I got it right here, I could tell you the name. Copywriting one-liners. So I go in and grab a few of those and put it together, and then it's a totally different email. Plus I'm going after a different market, right? The other one people should do is get on an email list for one of the guys that supposedly shows you how to build a multi-level marketing company, right? How to build a downline in a multi-level marketing, right? Because again, they send out 2-3 emails a day, and some of it's pretty good. Some of it'll spark your imagination, right? Because as we said in the hypnotic writing and a couple other things is don't reinvent the wheel. If somebody's doing something, you know, it's like, And then with your talents, abilities, and skills as a NLPer, hypnotist, marketer, and with hypnotic writing, then you add all that and it's a different email, right? And I told that to somebody and they're like, yeah, but I don't want to do that because what if they write me and say, you took my email? I say, you write them back and say, you probably took it from somebody. I mean, you know, hell, Shakespeare stole shit. You know, it's like, come on, people, you know. No, the Bible is all plagiarized, for God's sakes, right? So that was over the top. So anyway, so yeah, so it's like, you know, so learn from them. But and my fear again is I've seen people that they think that that's what they have to do, right? It is do that kind of over the top, internet marketing stuff. So, and I think my fear is, and then I will shut up and we'll talk, is it will drive away people that really want to help people. You know, just show me enough to get a little thing going where I can see however many clients a day. You know, I don't want to be working the laptop lifestyle bullshit that they sell. You know, and all the guys I know that really are pretty good at internet marketing, none of them live the laptop lifestyle. They work pretty damn hard, right? At least for several years, right? And so I'm even thinking like Tillman Knutson, if you ever got on his email list, but boy, when he's off on a rant and he's building one of his, he was the first guy. Well, he learned NLP and hypnosis, and then he got into internet marketing when it was new, right? Like late 90s, early 2000s. So he took those skills and he literally created many empires, right? And he did a thing, and it was quite a while ago, but it was like one of the first hypnotic boot camp kind of things online, hypnotic summit, one of those kind of things. He was the first, right? And he got a bunch of us. I still get those. Hey, do you want to be a part of this? Yeah, sure, I'll be a part. Get your name out there in front of people, yada, yada, yada. Well, he built an email list of 70,000 people from that list, from what I understand, right? Now, we all that got involved, we made a little bit of money because you could pitch products, you could do that, so you're good to go. Well, his email list paid him back like 20-1 before it was over, right? Because he was spamming that, I don't want to say spamming, but he was emailing that list, emailing people. And we were at a conference when he would still go to conferences. And somebody says, yeah, but you do that. And he goes, I don't give a shit. They get off the email list, I build another email list. That's how you think like an internet marketer. Because I wasn't there to provide a service, I'm there to sell stuff. And it was one of those, my best friend has a new product. Yeah, you get those, right? I know Bruce does, and some of us have seen those. You're like, how many best friends does this person have, for God's sakes, right? And it's all the, what do you call that? Affiliate marketing, right? And that's good stuff. I used to do it. But anyway, so it's kind of interesting. So I do think there's a need there, that they're still there to help hypnotists, NLPers, personal coaches that really want to help people build a sustainable I don't want to say small business, but livable business, you know, because that's what they want to do, you know. Then maybe after a couple of years, they want to like go big in the internet marketing world. It's fine, you know. You know, it's a different world. I never stepped foot in it all the way. I wish I would have, but I went to a few, you know. The thing I can tell you right up front is those internet marketing seminars and conferences are not cheap. It's, you know, it's $10,000 to walk in the door, you know, and 5-10 grand, you know. So anyway, but you learn a lot in that. So anyway, that's what I put out there, you know, that, you know, I don't know where it's going to go. Let's talk about it. But to me, it's kind of interesting because I know some of us here get on those mailing lists and it like drives you nuts after a while, you know. But I try to stay on the list because every once in a while I'll get an email and go, that is really good. That's got a good template. You know, one I admit was something about my grandmother. And I'm like, damn, I could run with this story, you know, being on my grandmother's farm and, you know, the chicken, whatever. I did a whole thing. And it was like, you know, I took his template and it was my story, you know, Boonville, Mississippi, you know, being down on the farm, doing those kind of things, you know, stuff like that. So, all right. Yes, Miss Carrie, let's talk.
Thank you.
Let's
Well,
talk.
Can we talk?
Can we talk?
Quick question. Could you remind me again, what are the swipe files you refer to with Joe Vitale?
Oh, you go and you find, like, you get sometimes some of their older stuff you'll see just as a PDF somewhere online, somebody posted,
Oh,
you know.
okay.
I mean, I'm always finding my classes for sale for like $12 somewhere, right?
Really?
Yeah, it's like, you know, Sense Learn or something like that. Somebody will put them up and then until you contact, they'll take them down when you write them, but it's like, you know.
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
But then the other part of the swipe file is, excuse me, just kind of sign up for some of the internet marketer guys, right? You know, before the end of the thing, I'll have some names, but, you know, and you just get on their email list and you start, you know.
But then you take from that source.
Yeah, it's a swipe. In the old days, for practice builders, we used to yell at people in the seminars, if you're not reading the newspaper, right, of the newspaper you advertise in, you're an idiot, right? Because see what ads work in that newspaper, right? And then create a swipe file. You'll see an ad, that's really good, right? That's really good, you know?
Okay.
I remember I used to run the thing, you know, and it was like, results happen here. That was the start for a while of for my clinical, no, it was Suncoast Hypnosis Center. Results happen here, right? And then, I don't know, then a couple of doctors started one of those physicians weight loss program, right? Lose all the weight you want for $7. Results happen here. I'm like, touche, you know.
Oh yeah, I'd
right?
sign up for that.
And it was fun. It was they took basically, well, my ad was a lot like others. You know, you've heard me say like, grandma dumps 45 painful sounds, nurse feels sexy again. I had all these things I would just throw out there and people loved it, right? And whoever was their marketing person for that, Results Weight Loss was the name of it down here, is like, they were following. It's like, because I know what they were thinking. Well, this guy runs an ad once a week, either a half page or a full page ad in the Fort Myers News Press, whatever it was, right? So if he's doing that, it's got to be working or he wouldn't be doing it. That's the first rule, right? After that fourth or fifth month, there's, you know, and so they were following it and then they would just model it, you know, and then somebody else could model it, right? So anyway, it's just what we do, create a.
Why reinvent the wheel?
Right, yeah, and the where you see that is car dealers,
yeah,
and personal injury attorneys.
Yeah.
You know? Have you been slapped by Will Smith? You may be entitled to compensation. No, I'm just
Too soon.
Call Morgan and Morgan.
Is.
Bruce,
Man,
call
that
Morgan and
is
Morgan for
entitled
the
to
people.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Every late night ad in Florida is either an accident attorney or have you taken this medication, we're suing, you're entitled to compensation. Those are the only two late night ads you see all the
Right.
time on cable in Florida.
wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You're entitled. And I love their wording. You're entitled.
Entitled.
Yeah. It's like, oh,
That's a
pretty
great
cool.
word.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Cool. So somebody else say something about
Is your
internet marketing.
entitled like a magic word?
I don't know.
with-
Well, you deserve it. It's like, those of us at that age or close to it about Social Security drives you crazy when you hear it's an entitlement. Right? No, I don't know how
I
much I
work
paid it.
for
Paid
it.
for it.
Right.
Yeah, and I've heard
I
even
picked it.
my personal pet peeve. There was one congressman, he actually ran for vice president, won't mention his name, Ryan. He called the Veterans Administration an entitlement program,
Oh.
and I'm like, okay, kind of cool. Of course, he's the same guy that went to college on Social Security, and then once he got in power, they took that away. What are those guys? I'll pull the rope up after me.
So
anyway,
Will,
Yes.
yeah, I've taken a couple of your classes, so I consider myself an NLP expert. And
X is a has been, a spurt is a drip under pressure. Welcome to the club.
so I was scrolling through what I thought was a news feed yesterday morning. I was still very much out of it. I've had not been getting very good rest, and I've been some health problems. But somehow I ended up with this thing where this guy talked about this health, a remedy for this health issue that I'm experiencing, or at least I think I am. They're labeling it. I'm trying to figure it out. He gets this thing. It's like, oh yeah, click here to learn more. And I ended up listening to 40 minutes of this guy's spiel, and it's full of stuff that I caught and a bunch of stuff I didn't catch. And anyway, so I get so involved with his spiel that I end up ordering it, and then I get thrown down a funnel.
Wait, before this,
Right.
wait.
And my critical factor is still going like, wait a minute. And the other part's just going click, click. And next thing you know, I got 3 prescriptions. And then I mentioned to my doctor when I finally got a chance to see her after 6 weeks. And I said, yeah, he was talking about this issue, but he was selling something. And she's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, that whole funnel system, it's, and it keeps changing. Like Bruce can tell you, it's like what worked now, because there's still a lot of guys still do that. So you decide to buy the low ticket item, right? Then wait, because you bought that, the regular $1,000 program is only $495.
Yeah.
Click here, and you're all so statistically it goes up. But if you say no, but wait, just because you're here, you can get it for $249, right? And usually I think there's a 3-step thing. Bruce, would that be right? Most of them had a 3-step drop that you had to click through to even order the thing, right?
Yeah.
And the other good one is, and I should start doing it, is that get this free book, just play shipping and handling.
Yeah, you see
The whole
that all the
The
time.
ClickFunnels guy, that's he doesn't hide it. That's what he does. Buy this book, it's free. It's only used to be $495. Now I think it's $795. Shipping and handling, right? Which covers the cost of the book. So, so now, and I think, what did he say? I think it was him. He got it from a guy named Robert, where then if you could take like $1, so if you pay your shipping and handling, and then you make $1, but if you do that 1,000 times, you've created a mailing list of people you like, or that like your stuff. Now you have $1,000 of free money to market, as they called it,
Yeah.
to go right. Everything goes back in, right? And
Yeah, this guy hit me at the right time because I bought into this energy healing summit program that was going on, being run by Tony's old sales manager or sales leader from way back when. And it turns out this doctor is he's one of Tony's doctors, right? The guy that Tony used to go to when he lived in Southern California, and I guess he still kind of interacts with him. But it was just a bunch of things that came together at the right and wrong time. And normally, I mean, like I said, I own a business, so my critical factor is usually peaking, but it's kind of been sloughing the last, I don't know, a lot of stuff on my mind, and I haven't been at my usual, my bullshit meter, I think is kind of lagging at this point. Because normally when I start seeing that, I mean, our friend Jason, I just stopped looking at his emails. I stopped reading his posts because I'm kind of tired of the flashy pitch, and it's all your fault, but I appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
Well, he's actually taking it to the next level. Well, he does go to those $20,000 internet marketing summits,
Okay.
so.
Reed, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Did you do a search prior to getting that in your news feed? Like, did you do a search? And this is, I'm leading this up for a reason here. Did you do a search looking for information that might have correlated to what you were doing? And how did they pull you down the funnel? Was it just a video? Was it a quiz? I mean, because in order for you to get that, there's something that normally triggers that. So can I ask you that, Reed, if you wouldn't mind sharing? And it would help us all learn what happened and what pulled you down that funnel.
Okay. Now I got to go back and look through my emails because I wrote a list of things that I needed to talk to my doctor about. And one of the presenters through this DR Energy Healing Summit group talked about leaky gut syndrome. And I've had a lot of digestive issues. And I thought maybe some of it had to do with stress, but it just kind of peaked when I was on vacation with my son. And part of me was saying, it's got to be some kind of food allergies. And this guy in this thing, his spiel was, yeah, you may think there's food allergies, but there's these things in certain foods, including tomatoes, and they have little razor blades in the consistency of the food. It slashes at your gut. And so I sent myself an email of notes that I wanted to share with my doctor because I always forget most of what I want to say. So I start writing it down.
Yeah.
So it could have been, the funny thing was I couldn't find that link when I went back to the email page or the newsfeed page that it was on. When I went back to look at it to share it with somebody, I go, you wouldn't believe what I just fell for. I couldn't find the link. And I looked and looked and looked. And the guy is Dr. Gundry,
Yep.
Southern California.
He's sly. He got me too. Lectin.
Yeah, lectins, yeah. So I didn't do a online search on the topic, but I sent myself an email on Yahoo Mail.
Well, and like Bruce talked about last week when he did that thing on Facebook marketing. Brilliant Facebook marketing.
Right.
Thank you,
But
Bruce.
it was like, it shows that like the algorithms in Facebook and Google and YouTube, well, Google and YouTube are the same, but I mean, it's like, and what, Facebook and Instagram, those algorithms, all you got to do, and we've all had that. You just casually click on one thing and now it'll be bombing your feed, I mean, I know on like Carolyn's feed, she's always getting these sailors and cowboys and bonnets. Hey, we don't judge here.
Caroline.
Anyway,
I've got
just-
nothing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, have you hugged your sailor today? Ooh.
Bring it in, Billy.
But
I
I
wouldn't
mean,
be surprised if because Amazon, Google doesn't sell information. Because I buy cookbooks, health-related cookbooks, and all of a sudden these ads pop up on diabetes, and so everybody sells information now. And I would guess that Amazon somehow, if you follow the money, there's a trail between Amazon and the ads I'm
well,
seeing.
and Reed pointed out something that's true for all of us. If it hits you at the right time,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I always kick my own ass because I said, the great time, I think, to send one about like a practice builder or change your business if you're, for coaching, and that would be Friday afternoon.
Why Friday afternoon?
Did your week not turn out as well as you'd like?
Oh,
Did you have a lot of
thinking
no-shows?
weekend, but
writing
yeah.
this down.
Right.
Yes.
And it's like, if they open it, and that's like what Bruce said about, our friend that sends out those emails. You don't open all of them. And sometimes that's why they'll keep sending not the exact same email, but the same type of email, if they're doing email marketing. But you can do the same with your copy on anything, Facebook or that is like, make sure it pops up on a certain day, Friday afternoon. Are you going to worry all weekend because your week didn't go well?
Oh, that's brilliant.
Take this class now, and it could be you too could be living the laptop lifestyle. No.
You're good at this stuff. You should teach this stuff, Dr. Will.
Hey, Doc. Yeah.
I'm good at doing other, that sounds funny. I'm good at doing other people, but not myself.
That's good too.
Write that one, Caroline. Post that one, Caroline. Post it.
Don't dare me.
Oh, I
Don't
dare
you
you.
dare
Double
me.
dog
Yeah,
dare
yeah.
you. Triple dog dare you.
So
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I would die.
One of these days, you'll see.
Oh,
This is good
and
stuff.
it's like, so it's, to me, it's just, it's interesting,
Yeah.
I
And
love
we're
when you
seeing-
say
and we're seeing-
interesting.
and we're seeing the market, what's the word I want, evolve as we're in it quickly. It used to take years, now it takes days, weeks, or months.
Hours.
Yeah.
Oh,
hours.
yeah. Ours is
Right?
true.
Yeah, because somebody enter internet marketing, they go, man, I nailed the algorithm, and then the next day I had to change it. Yeah. Because they got to keep you. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't keep up with the speed of technology.
Yeah. Well, there was one, like you would go into what Reed said, or Carolyn, if you're in that, like you're sick, that's when you search. If you come across one of those things, it's going to hit even harder. There was one for a while, one of the rehab centers would do late night ads, right? And then I saw them switch it from like, because if you're the addict, or it was for alcohol drug rehab. If you're the addict or alcoholic and you're 3 a.m, you're drunk, you don't really care, to be honest with you. But then they started targeting it to the family. I still
Yeah.
remember one is that like, are you worried about where your loved one is? Let them get the help that they need. And like, I remember sitting there going, that's really good.
Mhm.
Of course, it was $100,000 a month private pay facility in Southern California, and I told somebody, well, they can't be making money. Oh, yes, they can. If they get 10 people, that's $1 million, and late night ads, and so.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so start thinking about when we talk about, in the old days, they called it rubbing salt in the wound, right? Expose the pain and then rub salt in it. And most hypnotists, NLPers, and coaches try to fix the problem. Like you get a phone call, people are asking questions. A lot of us, our tendency is to try to fix the problem because this person on the phone's in pain. But some of us on this call probably has had this happen where you actually help that person on the call and then they say, thanks, click. Right? So they don't
Yeah.
come in for the, and it's a different mindset to like up the pain a little bit, hey, well, if you don't quit drinking, what's going to happen? You're going to end up one of these days, you might be one of the unlucky ones that don't die in a car crash, but you kill somebody. You got to live with that, and your family has to live with that. How would that make you feel? That, and you have them like, and then, so let's come in for a screening. I don't want to do that. Well, okay, I wish you the best, and it's tough to do because you want to help people, but it's like, what helped me was if you don't come in, I really can't help you. You know,
Yes.
if you don't come in, I really can't help you. You know, if we do a little Band-Aid, you know, you can't put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. You need to come. I used to say that to clients, you know, it's like, you've been shot, brother. You need to come in for some triage. We could put a Band-Aid on it, you'll feel better, but probably then, let's see, it's where I'm at, it's 12:40. You'll feel better, but by 7 p.m. tonight, you'll be drunk again and the race is on. You know, so come in and, you know, I actually taught that to a rehab center, you know, up the pain, get them to come in, you know, so. Carla, you're quiet. What are you doing in Canada?
Not much.
Just being cute.
But weather
Just
is
being
getting
cute.
better.
Cool. And Captain Schilling, how are you doing?
Well, as you can see, I had to comb my hair and put on pants to come to this meeting today.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you can tell, I'm working on my stand-up routine as well. But
Oh,
I'm not sure after 2 years of self-imposed isolation here that I really want to go back out and join the indigenous population.
Yeah.
I've rather enjoyed this cocoon.
Yeah. Well, oh,
I have
hey,
two.
Billy makes me think of, there was a hypnosis clinic in Norfolk, Virginia, right? The Norfolk area, world's largest Navy base, if I'm not mistaken, is still the world's largest Navy base, right? And it was positive changes hypnosis in that area. And he ran a weight loss clinic, hypnosis weight loss clinic. And his goal, one of his gold mine ads were, I forget what you call it, but Billy would know, where you're in trouble because you're over the weight requirement.
Oh,
You need to get that weight off, you know? And he was targeting, and he did it inadvertently from what then he said it was brilliant. He was targeting guys probably, you know, in the Navy or the Marine Corps, that's who's there, in that 8-9 year mark. So they're vested in the Navy. They're not doing their first tour and this, like, I can't get out of here quick enough. Like a lot of the people in the military, but it's like, okay, I'm like halfway to retirement. Now I've gotten fat, right? But the Navy says, if you don't hit these weight requirements, sorry, can't have you, right? And it was a cash business, had nothing. People go, oh, he got money from the Navy. No, oh, no, right? So his whole clientele was sailors, Marines, and their family was majority of it. And he literally had $1 million clinic in Norfolk, Virginia. I still remember that. That was in the early 90s.
They went under. We
Yeah,
had
well,
one
he
here.
took the idea, which is the guy that trained him said, if you're going to run that kind of clinic, it was Russell Yarnell, said, well, if you're going to run that kind of clinic, you need one really good hypnotist on staff, one really good hypnotist / therapist that can really help people. Then you need a couple people that are good with people.
Right.
But if there's and he suggested that the owner become like, you're chief of staff, to use a medical analogy, right? But most people will get fixed, you come in and he used automation of,
Yes.
you come in and you put on the headphones. I was the guy that introduced him to the brainwave glasses. I'll take that credit, right? So put on the brainwave glasses and hit play for the relaxation aspect of it, right? Because his method was, you come in like, hey, Bruce, how you doing? What's going well in your program? Oh, you're not eating chocolate. You're doing this. That's great. What can we work on specifically? I need to exercise. Great, Bruce. We'll work on exercise today. So we take notes. And again, you got to remember, none of these people have ever been hypnotized. Okay, well, you know the routine. Put on the headphones and the glasses. You're going to listen to this for about a few minutes. I'll be right back. And then they hit play, and then they leave the room, right? And it's just a really good, usually progressive relaxation or a Dave element, one of those really good ones. And so the person, and long and very relaxing, right? And they leave the room and you're in the room alone and it's dark and quiet. And then they know when they have to come back right? It's kind of marked. And then they
Yeah.
come back in and they blend down the pre-recorded and go into some live banter based on what that person said. So Bruce, now take a deep breath, relax. Good. Now that you're relaxing deeper, we'll begin to work on, and then they do whatever, something on exercise with that. That was the original model. They kind of do that in a couple centers now, right? It works. I don't care what anybody says, it works.
It does.
Because
Yeah.
as long as the client's getting result, they don't care whether you're in that room for 50 minutes or not, right? So anyway, it worked. Well, the guy with positive changes, his problem was he started telling it, he flipped it over to, I'll pay people $10 an hour to just walk in, hit play. So when people got stuck, there was nobody on staff to really help
Yeah, yeah,
them come in and fix them,
Yep.
Mhm.
right? And that's why, and also too, if that, and I fell into that, ends up, you have a big center that's seeing a lot of people, but you're paying so much between the advertising and staff and rent,
It eats away. It
Yeah.
nibbles away at your.
yeah. And before it all shut down, he goes, if I had to do over, I'd have just stayed in Norfolk and ran that clinic.
Well, yeah, and as you add in that automated stuff, what happens is you start what they were doing here is they started pressuring the minimum wage people to upsell. And pretty soon, people were getting really pissed off because they were paying all this money and buying, and like you said, there was nobody qualified to really help them get beyond a certain point.
And it takes a certain mindset. It depends how you get trained. I could do 3 rooms easy. I mean, when I was running like Fort Myers by myself, I could see 20 people a day, wouldn't break a sweat.
Wow.
In fact, it was energetic because, we're bantering at the beginning. I hit play, I go and bring in the next person, start them, come back, finish this person, start another, go back, finish. 2 was easy if you had your timing down, right?
Yeah.
And it kept the clinic busy. It wasn't like a psychotherapy practice where it's deathly quiet and you walk in and everybody's all serious and shit. You come in my clinic, I usually had a stage hypnosis video going or something like that, something fun.
Oh, wow.
And so it was fun, but not everybody can run that kind of clinic, right? And my friend still teaches people how to build those clinics, and it's quite lucrative. There's a lady in Canada, I think she broke, her biggest year was 700,000 in a year, right?
Wow.
Between the clinic, she has a couple clinics, training, right? And then executive coaching. Once you get to a certain point, it's easier to, anyway. But he always says, he'd much rather have someone just coming into the field than somebody that's been a hypnotist for a while, right? Because Billy knows what I'm talking about. I like the guy. We get along great, right? And it's like, because he has to spend a year teaching you to unlearn what you think you've learned. No, they love my voice. My clients love me. They would never like automation. Well, you train them to like your voice and that. And by the way, they probably really don't like your voice. They want to lose weight or stop smoking or do whatever it is. So, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
I would think that automation takes away the personal feeling. Somebody said to me, go in there and hit play.
Well, no, you don't hit. Yeah.
Versus somebody walking in and saying, I'm going to start this for you. I'd feel more relaxed if somebody said, I'm going to start this for you, than telling me to do it.
And in the original model, it was like we would sit there for 10, 15 minutes, follow up, how you doing? What's going good? You always start with what's going good. I'm trying to remember that. What's going good? Are you having any like little step, is there anything we could help you with in particular, that we can get over this week? You had a very structured language pattern, right? Oh, so you need to exercise, or whatever it is, late night, whatever they're working on, right? And then you say, okay, now we're going to do this. You're really going to, and by the way, the other thing in that original system, the first session is always totally live.
Yeah.
The first session is live. And then as they're leaving, next week, you're going to love it because you're going to see these blinky lights and these beeping sounds. It's going to blow your mind, and you'll come back next week. And then, but then you always spend, that's what I think that's one thing had positive changes. They took away that automation. But on the same token, there's a guy in Chicago that runs a clinic. I've seen it.
Mhm.
Larry Garrett, right?
Oh,
He
yeah.
has like 6 rooms. All 6 people go in. Boom. He starts them all pretty much at the same time. He's been doing it since the 70s in Chicago. It's a big clinic.
Don Martin used to do that. Yeah.
I have
And
no
Larry's 80 now, and apparently he's still using pretty much the same routine, and not always himself, but that clinic is still running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
think he
Garrett
uses
Hypnosis
cameras,
in
too.
Chicago, Illinois, the north side.
Yep.
But since it's just us girls here today, I didn't mean to cut you off, Will. This whole idea of automation, do you know how that actually got started? The idea of bringing clients in, putting their headphones on, and then delivering.
I was introduced to it by Russell Yarnell.
Okay, well, it was. I'm trying to remember. There was one Brian's son. I think it was William Jennings Bryan, ran for president at one time. His son actually. I don't know whether it's Junior or the first names may have changed there, but Brian in the 50s, he became an MD and a lawyer, but he was disbarred and also forbade to see clients in person. But nonetheless, he had moved into this hypnotic methods and other methods of suggestion, really a very controlling personality, probably not only narcissistic, he may have very well have been psychopath as well. He may have been the full triad, narcissistic, Machiavellian, and a psychopath, but nonetheless, absolutely brilliant. But he was the one that pioneered the attendants, brought the person in, put them in the room, headphones on, and he delivered everything via microphone.
All right.
So that's where this really started, with him trying to keep his shtick going.
While he was disbarred.
Yeah, to still comply with his medical ruling that he couldn't see patients himself anymore, but he could deliver everything.
And that's thinking like a lawyer. I'm not seeing them.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was a guy, and he ran a weight loss clinic. Not weight loss. He learned hypnosis in prison. All right. I know the story, right? I swear to God, he learned it like a mail order thing in prison. And he was in prison for fraud, and he learned it, and he started helping people with weight loss, right? And he moved to the Washington, D.C. area, right? And he was doing weight loss and doing pretty well. And then he stumbled across doing addictions, especially alcohol addiction, right? And he targeted federal employees like GS 12 and above, people that needed to, if you got a DUI or you couldn't go get help, or you could, especially if you FBI, CIA, guys like Billy, if you went through treatment, it might impact your career, right? So he started, right? People come in and he would do hypnosis for addiction, and it worked pretty well, right? And it was such a cash cow that he went from a few $100 to helping somebody to, it was like $9,000 cash up front, no guarantee, you got to do this, right? And it was at one point, it was, when I heard about it, it was already starting to wind down, but it was like, it was rocking, right? And the only reason he had to quit and got in trouble was he must have pissed off somebody, obviously, right? and didn't want to give money back. But it was a violation of his probation.
They got him on a technical.
Well, and it was on, because they brought him in and said, and it had to do with restitution. He was supposed to pay back some of the stuff from the first fraud. And he kept going to the court saying, I'm destitute. And then they brought him up in front and they're like, sir, you bought a condo in Miami. You have 2 new Jaguars. You know, you just rented a new townhouse in Alexandria, Virginia. How are you destitute? Well, it's through the company. Who owns the company? He pissed somebody off enough that he couldn't even hide it in the corporate structure. You know.
Oh.
So so anyway, it was called Phoenix, and it was called the Phoenix, I think is what it's called. But anyway, so I digress, but I have all it's like interesting. I still think and I keep kicking my own butt for not doing it. There's a gold mine to do addictions, especially alcohol, in the Washington, D.C. area to high-level government employees.
Yeah.
Outside of the insurance system. You don't want to be in the insurance system, right? And mainly alcohol, not so much drugs, because they get drug tested all the time. Go ahead, Billy.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off, Will. No, we had another guy here about a decade ago that I think he may have come out of the stage community. There wasn't a prior criminal, but the FBI took him down after 2 or 3 years because his shtick became using hypnosis to help people pass their polygraph. So if they had a drug or alcohol problem or financial problem that would be caught, you know, polygraphs are designed to have you disclose what trash have you brought into your life. And they're very effective with a skilled operator. So I've been told. But nonetheless, this guy had quite a lucrative business, like you're talking about, with the clientele they have that don't ask any names or real detailed background. Just pay me in cash. But the FBI actually put a sting together here about 7 years ago. He wrote a book about it right about the same time he went down. I have a copy here somewhere. I can't remember his name, but he wrote a book on how to beat the polygraph. I thought, well, shucks, maybe I want to take a look at this too. Not that I have anything.
But hey, Billy,
yeah.
What happens in Thailand stays in Thailand.
Unless it's highly communicable, because I won't say anything. Working with sailors, a lot of them have brought souvenirs home.
Oh my gosh.
So I hear.
All right, cool. How's John doing? You feeling better?
Oh, of course, I'm feeling great. I'm looking great. I mean, I'm doing great. And well, that's only my story. And I revamped my website. I had some websites and I put it to one now. And I'm so pumped up about that. I started my podcast. So I'm doing great now. I'm doing great. Hopefully it's about 90% done. So I'm pretty jazzed about that.
All right, everyone.
Oh, hey, Doc.
Yes.
Where's this at? Where's this recording going to be at?
On my computer.
Well, young man, you are absolutely right. So, but where are you going to put it at? Are you going to put it at any type of a form or anything else like that?
Yeah. I'll probably put it nothing got talked. We're still recording, right? Yes. Nothing got talked about that was over the top or embarrassing, so
No, when I call you a young man, you're not shocked because I'm going to start calling you young man because I call everybody a young man. So I'm going to start calling you a young man. You're just like an old owl. You're just wisdom and knowledge. That's all what it is. But you're a young man.
Well, if you want to be an old timer in any business, the first rule is don't die. Right? And
I agree.
If you pass that one, eventually you'll become an old timer, is what we always say.
Well, old to me is energy and mindset. And of course, you have to have some genetics going for you as well. But if you have all those three, you're good.
Cool.
One final question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What's our schedule going forward? Aren't you traveling? And wasn't there a class coming up that there were deadlines?
I don't know. I'm working on it.
Okay,
Next
good. I
week,
didn't
there
wanna
probably
miss
won't
anything.
be, yeah, I'll decide. I don't know if there'll be an NLP today next week. I'm gonna be
Okay.
in somewhere in Arizona, unless it changes in the next couple of days.
Okay, just keep us posted.
Yeah.
When do we get to see Cruel Summer?
I ordered both copies.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. You could, how do you
Send her the
order-
link.
What do you play it on then?
Then, okay, it's
DVD.
Scott Tepperman. Yeah, go to Scott Tepperman.
Yeah.
I'll send you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Send me one too as well. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you get to, you see me play, what's it called? Play to type. I play a sociopathic serial killer.
I love it. Okay.
Billy, who's Dwight?
White who?
I said
Dwight
Billy.
Damon.
Oh, Dwight
Oh,
Damon, the head of the National Guild.
You
of
were
Hypnotists.
talking about longevity here
Yeah.
in this community, and you said the first rule is don't die. And
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
yeah.
Oh, 90, really?
Yeah, and he's
Still
still,
going strong.
yeah, I talked to him. I lose track of time, but it's been within 6 weeks, right? And I wasn't getting yelled at for a change. We just talked, and he's like sharp, man. He is sharp as a tack. You know,
Wasn't he one of the guests on your book launch when we did it like all day?
no, I don't think he. No,
Oh,
Elsom
no,
was.
that-
Elsom is
Yeah.
pretty
Elsom
sharp.
was.
Elsom's like 5 years younger than Dwight.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
Yeah, and but yeah, interesting. All right, everyone. Talk to you soon. Yeah, I'll put this on
Bye.
YouTube. The link somewhere.
Safe
man.
travels.
Take care and safe travels, man.
Yeah, talk to you later.
Well,
Bye.
did I
Bye,
miss something, or have you put out for the next class? Have you put the information out for the next class?
No, I'm trying to find out if I'm going to be able to do it, or will I have to have someone else do it? So,
Oh,
'cause I may
A
be-
Star is Born?
yes, that's right. Yes, I'm gonna have to. Yeah. So
Love it.
cool. All right, everyone.
Bye.
And don't
Bye for now.
Will Smith anybody this week. Bye.
Exactly.
Please, not